Larsson. Oh, he's in! Henrik Larsson! That is sensational! O'Reilly, how about that for a pass? Jota! How about that for a finish? That is Jota for you! In for Henrik Larsson, and Moravcik! His first goal for Celtic! Here is Shunsuke Nakamura! Exquisite!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. I'm JP, and joining me in tonight's Monday night bulletin is my good man, Mr. Ryan Clifford. And I see, mate, that you have came dressed for the occasion. It is getting chillier here in Glasgow, and it's now -4. It's good to see you, mate. I hope you had a nice weekend.
It's sun's going away in Glasgow, mate. The hoodies are getting back out. It's getting chilly. But we're used to that in this type of side of the world, mate. So probably going to get even colder as we go along. But we'll obviously chat about that as the months go on. But yeah, all good, mate. Positive victory at the weekend. Also touch on the game as we go along, mate. But all good, mate. Good to get another victory and good start to the season, mate.
Yeah, and as you said, we will touch on that. I just want to come to the guys that are tuning in with us across the platform. Good evening to all of you as well. Welcome to the Monday Night Bulletin with myself and Ryan. We are here live for yourselves. How was your weekend? I hope everybody's had a good one. If you were away to the Oasis concert, I hope you really enjoyed yourself. Hope it was a good weekend. And if you've missed the small matters and the kind of football, Celtic managed to stretch the lead at the top of the table to 4 points now between us and our nearest rivals. Come to some comments, Ryan, as we always do. Our good man, Mr. T.O. Isaac, he just says, good job, 100%. Ryan M, 97, hail, fellow Tims. Just looking, decides to copy a lyric from the Stereophonics, one of the songs. Just looking, says, hail. Martin Flanagan has joined us tonight. He says, evening lads, thought the boys were excellent yesterday, especially Liam Scales, and considering we didn't even hit second gear, wait till we hit second gear, teams will be scared of us, and hail. Good man, Martin. And Jem, also, evening JP, Ryan, and the chat. Just looking, came back in there, I think, to reply to Martin, just saying that Liam Scales couldn't pass water. Now, our good man, Ryan here, obviously they two, as we all know, have formed a wee bond over the last year or so. And if you don't believe me, I'll let you all see. They were seen at the Oasis gig at the weekend. A wee bit of bromance there, as I say, going on. And I think our good man Ryan here can vouch that Liam Scales can certainly pass a wee bit more than water, Ryan, eh?
I can pass me bleach. Aye, Scalesy, aye. He's some man, Scales, isn't he?
He gets about. He does get about. He's can't believe he went there on Saturday night and still managed to play the game yesterday. That's good going,
Good
by the way. Aye, definitely. Was that his birthday present for you, Ryan? He turned 27 now.
I get his wee private jet, mate, so he's all sorted for the Oasis concert there, so it was all good, mate.
Nice one. I'm glad you looked after him, mate. I hope he's had a fun time. It looked like a good night, definitely. Well, there was no cigarettes and alcohol, bro.
Well, if anybody watches the half 10 show, they'll see what me and Scalesy get up to. They'll enjoy it.
Oh, there we go. That's an extra freebie for the subs there, if I've ever heard it, folks. Get your name in, get your name on the list. Lying about tomorrow, you'll be doing Springburn Shopping Centre tomorrow, wanting signages on that bit of paper. He's getting out the link free. I want you to see the video with him and Liam Scales. Francis, good evening. Good evening, boys. Good result. Didn't get out bad second gear. Aberdeen were mince. We still need to seriously improve the striking option, as Ida will definitely not do. We'll touch on some of those points. And Big Dom reckons, what has the Titanic and Russell Martin got in common? Neither of them should have left Southampton. There you go. Now, Ryan, what's your thoughts there, pal?
It's quite funny, isn't it? You shouldn't laugh, but it's hard not to, isn't it?
I thought they was going to say what they got in common. They both are sinking ships, kind of thing. One of those ones.
Well, that I know. I think with the looks of it.
Yeah, definitely. Even JP, Ryan in the chat, and Hail. I don't know if that's one of our Japanese followers there just tuning in. Hoping we don't slag off Yamada or Anamura or any of the boys. Nick Connolly, evening gents. Good evening to yourself, Nick. Hope you're well. And yeah, G-Doc as well. Evening all. There we go. We've got a nice wee different people. And our good man Mark there as well. Evening, lads. Solid performance and a great 3 points. That was Ryan. Obviously, just to touch right on into the game. You're looking at the fixtures beforehand, mate. We spoke about it even off you here. And I said to you, it's a really, really tough place to go at any point in the season, let alone your second game of the season. And I think a lot of Celtic fans were quite sceptical going into the game on Sunday. Obviously, there's big talk about, discrepancies in the team, the wide areas in the team. You look at the team overall and, even the bench and the subs that we could have brought on to impact the game. In my opinion, we're still quite strong. I understand that obviously we need some attacking force and we do need some wingers to help the team. But overall, mate, looking at the bench, I thought we were quite strong still. When you look at the options that were coming off the bench, that's 2 games now. Both players have, the set of players that we've got on the bench have come on and made some sort of effect in the game. Obviously, your 2 new signings there as well, Nigrin and Kieran Tierney. For me, right away, mate, they've made a difference to the team. They've showed their differences yesterday with combining for that first goal. Great finish and great ball with Tierney. Nice wee slip with the shoulder and down the line and a good cross. And obviously, Pittodrie, mate, it's a hard place to go at the best of times. A team that obviously just beat us in the cup final there as well. You think to yourself, we're going to be under a bit of pressure here, but we seen none of that yesterday, Ryan. Celtic just controlled the game. We used our game intelligence. We got the ball down. We tried to pass the ball about. And Aberdeen just couldn't get... It looked like Aberdeen just couldn't find an answer, mate, in terms of getting near us.
I agree with Francis. I don't think we really came out of second gear. I thought until the goal, to be honest, JP, I didn't think we were great in the first 25 minutes into the goal. There was nothing up front. Aberdeen didn't cause us any issue though. It was just we just didn't get any rhythm of play, and then once we get the goal, it was kind of game set match. We just kind of managed the game out, and I agree with Francis. What Francis says, we didn't really commit second. Did we have to commit a second gear? Probably no. Would I liked us to put them under pressure a bit more? And but once you get the second goal for Atati, it's games of bogey, and like you mentioned, mate, Nigrin and Tierney done well. I said it months ago when I knew we were signing. I said it weeks ago about the difference KT will bring, and he's not even fully fit yet. Greg Taylor can't get a game for Palk. He's on the bench the other day. Didn't get on in Europe. Has he made a mistake leaving Celtic? Who knows? But there's a big thing in the summer about we'll miss him and stuff. Don't think we'll miss Greg Taylor one bit so far. The way we're playing, the goals that Kieran Tierney's making for us, that they 2 that he's put in the box, one last week and the one against Aberdeen, for me, Taylor cuts back and doesn't do that. So right away, you've got an edge of quality. The only thing, it might be a wee bit, no concerning, but a wee bit of I will say concerning is if KT's only going to be a 60-minute player then we do need to have a left back to come on the bench. And for me, Liam Scales can't play left back. I don't think he's good enough cover for us if we're going to, as I'm going forward. And Amura signed, he's not even in the squad at the moment, so I don't know the situation there. If he's fancying him now, I don't know, but we definitely need help with Greg Taylor. And it's a left back, no somebody that can play left back when need be, somebody that can play left back. So because he will play games, he will play maybe the game against Falkirk on Friday or something like that if the European game. So, but overall, JP, considering the transfer state of play, the maybe split between your fans of what's happening at the club and stuff, the positive side is it's been two good wins start of the season. You've started well, 6 points, 2 clean sheets. You can't really ask for more. Maybe a bit more, swiftness of football and things like that. But at the end of the day, mate, entertainment. That's what you want. But the most important thing is, mate, is the games you win, and we've started that very well, mate.
Yeah, but I mean, we've made the perfect start in my opinion. We've scored 3 goals in 2 games, and we've not conceded a goal. But like I say, it's clear to see that the 2 lads that I mentioned there, Tierney and Benji Negrin, have made a vast difference to the first team. In my opinion, they've improved our first 11 tenfold, because they were options that we never had last season in the first 11. I do know, obviously, we are depleted in the wide areas, but having said that, if it means we're waiting to get the right quality in, then I'm all for that all day long. I mean, I don't, doesn't matter to me whether it's the first day of the window. I've said that to you before, or the last day of the window. If you do the business correctly, I understand there can be an element of frustration in between all that, but I don't get too bogged down with the processes of the transfer windows. It's basically the outcome I'm looking for, and the outcome should be that we are stronger. So that remains to be seen if that's going to happen or not. I've heard everybody chatting about it, Ryan. I've heard everybody saying, Martin O'Neill, it was the same when he was there. That was the same with him. This anxiety thing is not something new. It's been going on for years. It just seems to be a thing, and then all of a sudden the window closes, Celtic get their players in, and boom, we're all rosy again, and we're good to go. In my opinion, right now, mate, I think we're 2 wingers, or a striker and a winger of decent quality, away from having a right good side. And when I say a right good side, I mean a better side than what we had last year. I necessarily don't think we miss Nicholas Kuhn. Now, people are probably going to think I'm crazy here, but I don't think that's impacted us. The only side of that it's impacting us just now is the goal side. That's it. But when you look at Negrin, and I'm going to touch on him in detail here, Ryan, because it was something I noticed about him yesterday. It's not just that his technical ability or his physical ability, it's his tactical ability.
Touch. Thanks to Slavon Cabbage. Thanks a lot for that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for support. Thank you.
Yeah, we do appreciate that. Thanks very much, mate.
Thank you.
Really kind. Thank you. You look at the first goal, Ryan. Now, Negrin actually starts the move from the right wing position. He plays a 1-2 with Forrest. He comes in field. He then he manipulates the ball over to Hatate. Hatate then gets the ball across to Kieran Tierney. And then when you look at it on the other side, when the camera spins, it's then his run, Ryan, to time. Thanks very much, mate.
Thank you.
To time himself and his lateness in terms of getting into the box. Now, Ryan, that's worked on in training, mate. That's not something it's just started happening. But this is one thing I do want to touch upon tonight with you, mate, is the manipulation of the last 2 games. Now, I've watched Celtic play against big, strong, physical sides, right? You look at Aberdeen, they've got big sides. Sokla, the big lad. The boy Nielsen's quite a hard guy. The big lad Dorrington, big lumpy boy. The other big boy Povlara. That's just for Aberdeen. There's other boys there that I've not mentioned. You then look at St Mirren. They're all really big lads. Mandarin. The big boy came on up front with him. Then you look at Mark O'Hara. These guys on the Striking Violets, mate. Gogic. Real physical guys. One thing I've noticed over the last 2 games, Ryan, is the manipulation in the way Celtic play. And it's the way we drag people out of position just with 1 or 2 passes, mate. Look at the first goal yesterday. We worked the ball across the field. Tierney then loses his man, which, by the way, I don't know about the boy. The boys obviously never watched Kieran Tierney, because to let him slip like that by you, and Kieran will do that with more than just him, by the way, who's also an Australian international. He then clips by. But look at Benjamin Negrin. He times he's run that perfectly, Ryan. Nielsen's already made the move into the centre-back position before Benji's even at the 18-yard line. And then you see him starting to time when he realises... Now, see when you see Tierney dropping the shoulder, Ryan, watch you can get it on Sky, mate, and on the YouTube on Sky.
No, I've seen it.
Go back and look at Benji's run, right? See when Tierney drops his shoulder, Benji's off-ski. He goes right into that area, mate, knowing that ball's getting clipped into him. It's fantastic football, mate. And like I says, that comes with high-quality game intelligence, Ryan. That's not something, mate, that you can coach into somebody. That's been in him for a very early age, mate, that reading now. What will be brought out of him is his class. Why? Because we've got an elite coach. And Brendan will notice that all day long, mate. And that's something Brendan will be, no doubt, working with the boys.
No, they type of runs don't just happen, mate. That's players that know when to run, where to go. He knows that Tierney's going to get that ball in the box, so he knows he's going to get himself in that position. That's the sort of run that Matt O'Reilly would make.
We've only seen a goal for him in the St Mirren game, remember, just before half-time. It's the same sort of movement.
That's the sort of run Matt O'Reilly would make. That's a carbon copy of a Matt O'Reilly or a Tom Rogic type run, so I'm hoping that he's going to be that sort of player. I'm still going to be reserved about him because I don't want to be he's this and that right away, because I've said that before and I've been wrong, but he does look like a good player. He will get better. The demands of being here and playing sometimes 3 times a week. If we get in the Champions League, even the Europa League, it'll be the same. Or the cup competitions, he will have to play. Like Engels last year, coming from 1 game a week or whatever. I know Denmark, was it Denmark it came from? Is that right? Denmark? Norway, Denmark, wasn't it?
He's Swedish, but he played in Denmark.
No, that's a Denmark guy.
Yeah.
So sometimes they play midweek games, but they're not as frequent as Celtic. So it's going to be an adaptation as well. But he looks like quite a fit lad. But again, the difference with Kieran Tierney, he knows that there's going to be somebody there. And like you say, mate, that's not just something that's just random. That's worked on during the week. I like him. It could be a bargain. I know Brendan says he spoke to Michael Essien, but whoever's actually got that going in the first instance, it's a pretty good spot. So that's what I'd like to put forward for the future. Whoever's found Negrin, can you let them do the rest of the transfers, please? Because there's obviously they've got an eye for a player. Well, so do you know what I mean?
We've been told now that he's valued at 11 million now, and we've managed to get a loophole.
That wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
No, I don't mean now that he's signed for Celtic. He's an 11 million pound player, but Celtic found a loophole within his contract.
But no, I like him, JP. I just hope that, again, I keep saying it, I know them across the water are no at their best moment in time either. Obviously, neither we're still strengthening as well, but obviously with their 2 league campaigns there.
Maybe question for you there, Ryan.
Oh, it was brilliant, mate. I'm telling you, wait to see the half-10 show, you'll see exactly that we enjoyed it. It was
going to live forever.
It was Don't Look Back in Anger, shall we say?
It was no cigarettes and alcohol.
No, it was plenty of enjoyment there.
I've had it on good authority, CFC Mooney, that he told Scalesy on Saturday night, just before midnight, that he's his Wonderwall.
Aye. But I know, listen, I think he's a good player, JP, but I've always said, I know they're that mob across the water, aren't they anywhere near any great shakes or where they want to be at the moment. But I've always said anybody's biggest test is going to Ibrox. If you can do well at Ibrox, then you'll do well for Celtic, in my opinion. So that's what I say. Sinisawa's big test would be last year, and he done really well. Some guys have went to Ibrox and no done well at all when they played there. So that's the atmosphere where I go, right, if you can go to Ibrox and perform, put us up, then I'll go, you know what, you're a Celtic player for me. You'll do well here. So, because again, it's a different type of game, the atmosphere, the physicality of it. We know how they play. They can be quite physical. It's not against St Mirren, where you have most of the ball a lot of the time.
Yeah.
There's different, so that's where I'll see guys like your Negrins, if Osmonds and all the guys, if they ever play in the games, that's where I go, right. If you can perform at that level, then you can do any level, because that's the hardest level you play against in the Celtic in the league. Got to Tynecastle performing. So no, listen, he looks good, and hopefully he'll just continue that upward scale, mate.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And then obviously to touch on as well, good man, Francis. I hope you enjoy that.
Enjoying it.
Certainly, from what I've seen in video wise, it looks a fantastic gig. We can see that, you know, you talk about Negrin for the first goal, you then look at our football for the second goal, and the manipulation again, as I come to, you look at Alistair Johnston, plays a ball into McGregor, it just takes three people right out the game, because they're trying to kind of half press us, but they do it in a kind of half-hearted stage, stop, start, and then before you know it, we've turned. But you look at the running now, again, I go back to Nielsen, because he's supposed to be marking Negrin. Negrin then runs off him, but it's just sheer intelligence, Rang. You look at the as soon as McGregor picks up the ball, Negrin makes a move, and he goes down the line, because he knows the ball's going into James Forrest, and then James Forrest is going to play it to him. So, like he says, mate, that's worked on. That's not something that, you know, they've just decided that we're just going to try this for a laugh. And you see Negrin's game awareness. So he then turns on his left peg with a head up. And the boy Milne, who, by the way, I was really impressed with that lad. I think that boy's going to be a good player. I think that boy Stuart Milne's a very, very good player, by the way. And I'm intrigued to see where that boy can actually take his career. But he does a wee merry dance when Negrin stops and chops with his left foot back in, and then that ball to Rio Atati, to pick that pass, mate, is, yeah, that looks easy, mate, but it's no. You know, to get that right into Hatati, it's got to, bearing in mind, mate, Hatati's only got to set himself and then he shoots. So that's got to be right onto Hatati's step where Hatati's moving into that. So Negrin's put that into the space that Hatati wants. And Hatati just got to set that, and boom. You're not got, for me, mate, you're no, apart for the boy that scored against Hibs for Kilmarnock, I don't think you'll see a better goal in the next few weekends, mate.
No, it was a cracking finish for Hatati, mate. Again, that's what he can bring you. And again, I still stick by, if Jota would have helped, but if Hatati was playing a cup final, mate, I think we'd have won a cup final, because you've seen how important he is to his. He's, again, I'm a massive McGregor fan, but when Hatati's on his game, mate, he's probably the best in this league. He's vital to what we do, mate. He's the only player on the team in the midfield that does the risky. Look, I like Engels, right? Engels does the really good diags. He does the ones that go in between defenders. His distribution is very decent. But what Hatati does things that nobody, in my opinion, Scotland does. He plays passes where people don't see. He's a ball away, but he's getting the ball away when he's trying to go forward with it, in terms of he's trying to make something happen. Now, I don't mind it. I hate players getting the ball away when there's underneath pressure or there's nothing to get away, but I don't mind players cutting the pass out, or when they're trying to do something to go for goal or create. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. But I don't mind, what I do mind is when you're underneath pressure. And it very rarely Hatati's is when he's trying to burst forward to do something. But his finish yesterday was, again, the goalkeeper, no goalie saves that, no matter if it's Donnarumma for PSG, if it was Casillas years ago. No goalie saves that. It's pinpoint. And that was a cracking finish, mate. Cracking goal, good play, and that's the kind of football we can do. That's what we can do. So
that's
hopefully,
why I've always said to you, Ryan, I'm confident. I know what we're capable of, mate.
100%. No, listen, when we're in the games, IP, even 80% of what we can do, even with the players here at the moment, no team will get near you. It's definitely the process of like the player situation and the way we are going forward in the wing areas and the striker areas, that that could come to bite us next few weeks if we don't get it sorted. Because you've seen it, the lack of. Don't get me wrong, I thought Forest are okay. To be fair, I thought Forest was fine. Maeda, again, he wasn't great, but we can touch on that as we go along in terms of, has he been tapped up? Has he gone? Has he seen no win it? Is it because Tierney's there and he's not been able to do his game because he's used to terrible inverted? There could be a lot. No, I'm being no. It's a.
Aye,
Listen, I'm being serious because
I know
Maeda's
what you
got
mean.
more. He's got more space when Taylor was inverted to go into. So, listen, that's not a down in here. I'm just putting anything I can to understand why he's not at his pomp now. But for me,
Kieran, if you're watching us, Kieran, you're listening.
aye,
If you're playing on Friday, Ryan wants you to stand inside in the sixth position and get
Aye.
out to Maeda's road.
But there's no doubt about it. For me, he's a centre forward every single day of the week. He's not a winger. He very rarely, when he takes guys, he's come back to the old Maeda, but he takes guys on, runs out the park. That's what he done. He done it 2 or 3 times. I'm like, don't do this to me, man. I get so frustrated when players do that. It really frustrates me. So I'm like, guys, and don't do it again. Just Brendan, put him up front. He's a striker. He's a sniffer. You've seen it. I know he slipped when the second half, but you've seen his movement, Jake. He was only like a flash. That's an instant striker. He knows where the goal is.
Yeah.
He's not a winger for me. I think now I was very sceptical of him going out wide. I thought, well, back at up front. Because I'm like, if you put him up front, are we then going to take the fitness away from out wide? But now it's the opposite. You move him from up front now, I think he looks like he's not played out wide at all. He was out of the camp on Sunday, so I just hope we can get back to that form. But again, I'm not going to kind of down him too much because, like I said, last year he was amazing. I allow players 2 or 3 kind of maybe poor games, and then if they start time, go like, listen, you're playing with Celtic. You have the odd game or 2 off, but you can't do it all the time because the rest of the team will then go down for that. So I hope if there's any sources that can come out and say that he's not going anywhere, or is that the reason why Marco Tello's got to stay? In case he goes, like, I'm trying to think about every single possibility here because he didn't look really happy on Sunday. He's normally happy and cheery and he laughing and he didn't seem my either of himself. But
No,
maybe that is.
To answer
I
your
don't know.
thing about Telly, I read a story tonight and it was from one of the papers. I can't remember what one it was. And the reason Marco Tellio is staying at the moment, it's not because he's Celtic not having.
No, I've seen it. I know what you're talking about. I've seen it.
Or something. They're hanging off. They're trying to get rid of one of the players to bring him in.
Aye, but I'm just trying to think. But there's obviously Celtic wanted to keep him to start off with because of whatever reason. If it's to do with that.
But Celtic have now said no, we're not standing his way. We're happy for him to go.
I don't know if that's the case. Why, whatever. My real hope that doesn't happen is I hope that we don't qualify for Europe when they sell him. That's my biggest thing because Brentford are selling somebody now. I think is it we size about Newcastle. I think that's my fear. That we qualify for Europe. The board think, right, us get 40 million, guaranteed Champions League, right, we can now sell a player. In my opinion, we don't need the money to sell unless it's ridiculous, like 30 odd million pound or whatever crazy money. We do not need to sell any of major assets. We don't need to do it. We've already sold.
The way you would see that, Ryan, is if one of them, if we never qualified and we made the Europa, I think then you would
see even then, no. We've already got the money in the bank. We don't need to sell one of our major players. We don't need to do it. We don't need to. Yeah. Aye, they might do it as a security bonus for next year to add on to it. But we've got the money in the bank and we don't need to sell any of our major assets unless it's ridiculous when you go, you know what? Fair enough. But one thing I will say is there's obviously interest in my head. There has been for a few months, right? I hope to God they've got a replacement lined up because if they sell him, within a few days, right, the button's got to press and somebody's got to come in. We cannot let him go and it takes us to the last kick of the ball before we get somebody in because it's got to happen really soon. They've got to have somebody that's lined up just in case he goes. I'd be really surprised if I've no. Well, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. It won't shock me for the way it's happened in the last few weeks. It won't shock me. But I'd like to think there's just in case they go and press the button. But that's not something to talk about right now. But I'm just thinking, I just hope that if we do qualify for the phase, that we don't sell any major asset. I hope the board don't think, right, that's us, everything's fine. We need to try and push to get to what we done last year. That's for me. That's the standard. But in terms of yesterday, mate, I totally agree with you in terms of Negan. I thought it was really good, and I just hope that can be him now to take us forward. And if you want to say fill that Matt O'Reilly void that we've been missing.
Yeah. Big Rab joining us on YouTube. He says, everyone's having a dig at Ida. We haven't replaced Kuhn or Matt O'Reilly's skill in creating chances. Yes, KT and AG are firing balls into the box, but they aren't finding any targets. We need creative wingers in. Well, I don't know if you saw the game yesterday, Rab, but KT fired a ball into the box, mate, and Benji Negrin scored off it, mate. So it was a fantastic chance we created and a fantastic finish we done off the back here. I'm only kidding, mate. I do get your point. But yeah, I think Benji Negrin, as Ryan mentioned there, could be that void that has been left from Matt O'Reilly leaving us. I think everybody had it in their head that Arnie Engels was going to be that void. And I think that this happening from the Celtic fans has been that Arnie Engels is a different player from Matt O'Reilly. He's not the same type of player. And I think that's what they thought Celtic were bringing in. Whereas Arnie Engels is that kind of fighter in the midfield, good technical player, but he's got a lot of physicality. He can run all day. He can work hard for the team off the ball and close the space down and get in people's faces and stuff. Kind of what he done against Ademola Lookman in the Atalanta game. But, yeah, I think, definitely in the wide areas, we definitely need recruitment. And I think that's an area that we will bring recruitment in. I know Brendan Ryan has spoke at length regarding it. He's obviously waiting on certain targets that are available. I'm of the opinion now, Ryan, that I think Brendan's maybe had players come across his emails or his desk or whatever whatever way it works, and he's just went no. He's not signed off on the players, and we know Brendan is looking for a certain type, and maybe the guys that have come in, he's not one to have said yes, and I commend him for that, because lots of other clubs would kind of bow to fan pressure in that instance to get players in, and and he's not one of those managers, Ryan, that want to get players in just to stockpile the squad, mate. We've done that in years gone by. Look at his first window. Well, a lot of players have come in. The only one that's really left is Yang, maybe Bernardo. But out with that, I mean, that never worked out. So, if he's waiting to get that right quality, I've got no qualms with that whatsoever. Yeah, it can be frustrating. Yeah, it can be. But I also have, and I've said this millions of times on this channel, I have plenty of faith in the lads that are there just now. Why? Because they've never demonstrated otherwise. They've gave me nothing but confidence in them and the way that they've went about things. A lot of things, get missed as well. I mean, Celtic have brought up two Premier League status defenders in this transfer window, and it's went way under the radar because of the anxiety that's now among the fans. We've not got wingers, we've not got forwards, we need a new striker, we need this, Celtic have brought two Premier League status defenders in this window, and it's went right under the radar for me, Ryan. And by the way, they've came for two teams who over the last 3 years have battled it out for the Premier League as well, both players, and both of them have played in the Premier League and in the Champions League. So, but for me, mate, it didn't go amiss with me, but it's went amiss with quite an abundance group of support.
Well, KT, mate, it's no one away from my thinking. I've been chat about him all the time. The boy, I think the only reason why maybe the boy Pusey's went under the radar is because he's not even fit yet to play, which again is something we really need to get that sorted. I understand the boy might not need a lot of kind of bedding in and stuff, but we need to stop signing guys that are no fit to come in and play. We need guys ideally to come in as soon as possible. Again, it might only be a few weeks away, I get that, but that's maybe the reason why he's been on the radar, because he's no one played yet, no in the squad yet. But no, it's a good point, mate. That's definitely something that should be spoke about, because I think I genuinely believe, unless, because I don't think Brendan's up to Austin Trusty for some reason. I actually thought Trusty done well when he came on yesterday. I thought he done well against St Mirren. I still believe that he's harshly treated not to be starting the first league game of the season. I think Trusty's all right. I think he's decent. Again, is it good enough to take Celtic forward? I don't know. He's only been here one season, so he's looked okay. For me, he's better than, he's obviously better than Nerowski and Nagy because he's still here. But I want us to ideally sign players that are going to be here. And come in right away. That's probably the only thing I can mention of that, mate. But see, as you know, I'm different for yourself, some other fans of the situation, and what Martin O'Neill was talking about, like anxiety. For me, it tells you something, that there's something. If this is happening every single season, there's something's got to change. We can't keep going on to the last week of the window, rushing for players. The manager said it last year. I shouldn't have been in this situation. He might be in the same situation again. We can't have this every year, because next year we could potentially have 2 to 3 qualifiers, and we're not fully prepared to know. That's for me, that's my full frustration, that we're no, because last year we mentioned Trusty, Ida and Engels, right? They were better next year with pre-season, but maybe doing the same again, and couldn't get a lot of criticism, and Ida get a bit when he came in as well, no fit, and then I don't want that, because I don't want to sit here and say he's no fit yet, why is he not playing well, and it's just due to when they come in, and we do need to speed that up. Like I said, what Steve McGimmon said.
How do you speed that up though?
Get your deals done. Get your deals done quicker, mate. It's as simple as that. Get it done quicker.
In what sense? So, like say yourself, what have you envisaged then? The now that's maybe not happening fast enough, or
there's players all around the world that we've seen all in the media that are getting. There's been links with Thursday, and the boys signed them Monday morning. We get links with a guy in February, March. He's still not signed yet. But we've been scouting guys for a year and a half, a year, and then got to other teams and not coming in. What are we doing? It's so well. I found that the article with Steve McGibbon pretty interesting, and if that's true what he says, then there's things behind the scenes that are not right. That we're basically getting run by accountants. If that's the case, what he's saying, if that's spot on, that Chris Mackay and Michael Nicholson are overhauling who they sign and who we don't. For me, that's wrong. You do not undermine the manager and the football department. If that, I'm not saying it's true. I'm only going by McKimmon's article, so that's all I can take for this.
I've not read the article, Ryan.
So basically, what he says is that the football department, on the guy for Go Ahead Eagles, Broom, approved him. They wanted to sign him, and Mackay and Nicholson apparently have said no, because we don't think his value, or we don't think he's the value for the player. And I understand that, but who are they to tell the football manager and the recruitment team that they're not good enough for Celtic? That's wrong, and for me, that's got to get changed. They should not be saying yes or no to being good enough for Celtic. Maybe the value might not be, then they can talk about that and negotiate. But if that's true, what's happening at this football club, and this is why we're not getting players in quick enough, is because the businessmen are getting too much involved with the football department, JP. That's got to change. Let the football guys, let Brendan and the recruitment team put the players in. Let them deal with the chat about that. But if that's why we're not getting guys in quick enough, mate, that needs addressed, and it does need to be spoken about, because
even you said there that we've said about the value, right? In terms of money, I'm not in there, so I don't know what's going on.
No, I'm saying, I'm just going by what they're saying.
I'm not in any sort of business or anything, so I don't know what's going on with that. But in terms of the money value, nobody else, in my opinion, is in the right place apart from these guys.
No, I'm not saying that.
They probably understand in terms of money valuation.
But so what I'm saying,
maybe don't see an end goal. That's just one individual.
But
is
it's
it just one KV, or is it many?
No, this is just one player highlighted about this guy, right?
I mean, I don't even know about this player.
No, neither do I. I'm only going by this, but see if that's the way we are working, I don't like it. If the manager has said and the recruitment team have approved this signing and thinks he's going to add to this team and make us better, why are you not getting them? I don't care if it's 5 million, 4 million, 3 million. Like I says all night when I was on with Alan and Daniel, we do not need to sign every player to make money, JP. Not every player we sign has to get his money. We can get a player, if he's 5 million and we don't sell him on for anything, but he brings you a double, he makes you better in Europe, he scores you 15 goals and gets you 7 assists, gets you man of matches, sells you merchandise, fans love him, they get all his strips. Your quid's in. You've paid him back. This is not every player we sign has to be mega bucks and go for mega money. It's not going to happen. They're not going to sign every player and
No,
sell
I
him
get
on.
that, mate, but see the fans, right? And I've seen it many across social media and through various different forums and supporter channels. The fans need to have a bit of realism regarding Celtic and transfers, right? Now, where I'm coming from there is Celtic, I've got a transfer model for a reason. Celtic can't go and spend £15 million on a guy, because then what do you think his wages are going to be? And somebody who's 27, 28, who this ready-made kind of bracket gets brought in here, they're not going to come to Scottish football. It's not happening. See, unless they've got relations within the football club, connections within the football club, i.e. Brendan Rodgers because he was a Celtic fan and he'd previously managed Celtic, Kieran Tierney because he used to play for Celtic. That's the only reason why these guys are here. And they're prime examples of that. The only way you're going to get a guy who, I don't know, who might have played at a higher bracket is because he's at the tail end of his career. There's no guy right now. And by the way, see when you pay 15 million quid for a guy, what does that guarantee? What does it guarantee? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. There is no guarantee that you're paying £15 million on a guy and he's going to come and he's going to hit the ground running here. I go back to it again. This is a massive club and a football rivalry. We play in a city with another big side in the city who have got an equal playing field when it comes to working. Now, fortunately for us, they have not done their side of things correctly. And we've been able to laugh at them for over a decade now. And we're still laughing at them because they're doing the exact same things. It's called rinse and repeat in football. So, you look at the guys predominantly throughout the last 5 years, players that we've had. We get slagged for paying 1.5 million for Maeda. The same for Hatate. The same for Matt O'Reilly. Now, bearing in mind, Matt O'Reilly wasn't even a target. He appeared after another target said no. Or what we're led to believe. You need to understand that we're getting fed snippets of information. And fans speak quite a lot with emotion rather than actually just listening and doing their due diligence on the individual. You know? There is no way Celtic are going and spending funny money on guys. If Celtic paid 6 million quid on this boy, Jacob Broom, right? And he came and he had the opening season of an Albion Ayeti. What do you think? I mean, look at the Celtic fans just now and the money that we spent for Ida and the money that we spent on Arnie Engels. What do you think the Celtic fans would be saying about this boy?
But that's just the market, Nero. That's the market.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's a chance you take with anybody, Ryan. What they're trying to do is they're trying to do their due diligence enough so that they can say to the boys, right, I think this guy's going to come in and he's going to actually impact the team. There isn't a guarantee with any player coming in to impact the team. But it's more to do with, it's more than just the guy's playing ability, Ryan, that Brendan's looking for. Brendan's looking for his personality, how he is when he's not on the football field, the way he lives his life. It's a specialised category, mate, and I've heard it many times getting spoke about. But the supporters are asking quite a lot of the time to spend big money. And for me, personally, it's not a guarantee that you're going to have the same success. We spent 6 million quid on Cameron Carter-Vickers, and even then, that was a gamble. Look how that's turned out for us now. But we also spent £6 million on Austin Trusty. And the guy's getting slagged for party post. So he's part of the 3 that people are mentioning about the 26 million we spent last summer. So if the club are seeing that, and are the guys worth that money to be spent on them? They're probably not, if we're honest. He does not worth 9 million. Engels probably hasn't been worth 11 million, although he's a good player. And Trusty's probably not worth the 6 million. But if each of the guys were 3 million ahead, we wouldn't be going nuts. They wouldn't be getting a big deal made about it. So that's why the club need to be careful, and I'm assuming that's why the club are careful. Because of the outcry, because of what happens, Ryan, and the aftermath of doing these signings.
No matter what the board do, JP, if they sign cheap or buy mega, they're always going to be a hunter. You're not going to get every signing right. But I seen a stat the other day. I think it's 16 or 17 out of 20 or 21 players that we've signed for over 6 million. They've been successes. And only 50% of the 1.5s and 2 millions have been successes. That's quite a strike rate. So 9 times out of 10, when Celtic have paid big bucks for a player, they have worked. We can't keep going on Albion, Ayeti and Barkas because they failed. Look, let's be fair, they were
massively,
honking, right? But I'm being honest, right? Now, I might not be his biggest fan, right? Either Trusty and Engels haven't failed the Celtics. They won a double last year.
They haven't failed. That's my point.
What I'm saying. They've not failed. We did not spend money on the players. We get that money back. So realistically, they were successes. They won his trophies. They got his potential near the knockout phase of the Champions League. Engels got you how many goals? 11, 12 goals, assists. Trusted done well in the Champions League. He did go to 20 goals. Yeah. Aye, it might be the bare minimum. Still go to 20 goals. That helps you towards winning a double. So they're no failures. They might have not been brilliant players, but we've got the money back. So for me anyway, I think we can ask a question on a £10 million player. 100%. If they say no, they say no. All they can say is no. The model's in place and it's brilliant. I like the model, but it's no set in stone. It can be tweaked for a certain player or a certain individual that's going to make you quality. I'm not asking for a player for £15 million, but we're not going to keep...
No, I'm not saying you are directly.
No, I'm just in general. Listen, 100%. No, I agree with you. Listen, there's fans out there that expect us.
They wanted us to spend £14 million in January for Fitzgerald, mate. A guy who can't even get a game for Norwich now.
No, listen, I was one of them where, see if you scout somebody and you think he's good, go for him. Obviously, unless if it's too dear, then I understand. But the model we have got, right, see in about another 5, 6, 7 years, JP, it's got to get tweaked because football's moving forward and we need to modernise. We're not going to keep buying plus £1 million, mate, and sell them on for 50, 40, whatever. We're not going to keep doing that all the time. We're not going to keep going to Japan and buying £1 million players, and they're going to. But it's whatever we talk about here is going to. No matter what we do, buy big or buy cheap, but there's always going to be players that are going to fail. There's always going to be players that will be brilliant. So
not fail. I mean, they're playing with Celtic for a reason, but there'll be players that just don't manage to do it, right? There will be players that don't manage to do it for whatever reason.
See, well, I agree with you there. I'm not saying they were a success, but they're getting absolutely. Don't get angry. Listen, I will still want either for the game of Sunday, but I'm not going to cane them as overall signings because they've still contributed to the team to a certain capacity. We spent £26 million, right? We've got that money back. So it's no harm the team. It's not like Ayeti and Barkas maybe put us into a wee bit of a debt or they really harmed us that season. None of that happened. So realistically, as a whole, they've been decent signings in terms of they've made the club money in the Champions League. They've won as a double. So it's no doom and gloom. I just think we undervalue ourselves, JP, in terms of who we can sign. I really do. I think we all think that we can't go and get a player for the Premier League, a player for abroad. You can if you do. But that's what I mean. But there's no reason why you can't ask the question. Right? There's one today, Andy Oven, right? Well, no, listen, it could be absolute nonsense, right? I've never seen the boy play, so I can't comment. But he's playing with West Ham in the Premier League, so he's obviously maybe okay, right? And he might come up here and do well, right? But we can actually question the boys that are playing with Bournemouth, Everton, even Spurs' bench. The Rangers got a guy on loan to Spurs. Might not sign him, but he's on loan. The boy's a decent player. We can go and get that as well. So it's like we have a Man City. So I just think that me personally, as a club, I think we undervalue ourselves sometimes to tell you what we can. Like you say, we're a massive club, mate. See if we qualify for the Champions League, we all of a sudden become an even more attractive opposition.
Yeah,
To Europa League, maybe no. Because I think personally, if we get Europa League, I think you lose your manager. Personally, that's just my opinion. I don't think he'll stay because I think he wants a challenge. But like I says, mate, Brendan wants players in. Again, for me, the frustration is, mate, that they're no one quick enough. And we're no one. Ideally, we get them in before the start of the season. You bed them in. Hopefully, keep them before the playoff. See if we get 2 or 3 guys in before the playoff. I will go. You know what? Right, fair enough. Maybe we're a wee bit hasty here. Maybe a wee bit there. But until that happens, I'll still give my frustrations because things should be done quick enough to get these guys a bit of help. But like you said on Sunday, mate, the guys that are there done really well in terms of getting the victory, clean sheet. Kieran Tierney signed the Celtic song, like nothing's changed. Again, you've got a decent cup time Friday to maybe rest a few boys and not take it too easy, but you can maybe change your team. But there's maybe certain players that, again, that could be a wee fight in their hands for jersey, mate.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Obviously, as you mentioned earlier, we've not seen Anamura yet in the domestic campaign. He's not played. Obviously, Shin Yamada made his debut, albeit away from home. He has been at Celtic Park, but he was an unused sub against St Mirren. Maybe Friday, Brendan might want to have a look at Shin then and run a rule over him against Falkirk. I think you can clearly see he's got an element of physicality about him, Ryan. He looks as if he's got a really nice touch. He's faster than he does. I've noticed that about him. And his press is a bit better in terms of he's similar to Kyogo that way. He'll go chasing after things. I like the way he tries to time his run. He's just unlucky he's that fast. He was offside for that header. Yeah, as I say, mate, I've said it millions of times. I'm probably one of the calmest guys among our supporters just now, with the way things are going. I know for a fact Celtic will bring players in. However, I'm not one to shy away from recognising that other players in the team are starting to now develop again. You know, I listened to Barry Ferguson, it was earlier on, and he says about Callum McGregor, he just looks as if he's getting better and better all the time. There's another player, he's you know, a guy that was distraught after the cup final, lost his first ever cup final.
See on him, by the way, I don't. Sorry to cut. Maybe you made a good point there because I've noticed it during the game. I actually texted my dad about it. That's one of the first times in a long time I've seen McGregor getting at people. I loved that. There was a bit in the second half.
Yeah, there was a wee bit in the door, wasn't there?
And the Celtic fans gave a massive roar. He tackled 2 or 3 boys and he went right through them. And I don't know if that was because of the cup final and a bit of revenge and a bit of still in his body that he had to put the rights for wrong. But I thought McGregor was different class, and that's what we miss in your game. See that side of the game. I don't think we did that enough. See, when you go to Ibrox and stuff like we just like BKO go, I'm on up my help me up and stuff like that. I know that's our culture, but we need a bit of the old Celtic kind of old nastiness. I think we're too nice. But that yesterday was good for McGregor. I really liked that, and that's what gets players and players up for like Scott Bell used to always do it. See enough on each, and he used to make a tackle and it would get the fans up. It's wee small things like that I think help you as well, mate.
Yeah, 100%, mate. In my opinion, you know what it's like, man. You played, so they set the tone in games as well when you're up against people, especially that boy Nielsen, because he just loves putting a boot in against us. He goes flying into a challenge yesterday against Benji Negrin, and he's never winning the ball, mate, but he's that much an animal. He just decides to have a go at him, and he gets himself booked. There's a couple of games he's already played against us last season. I'm surprised he never seen red and was sent off in them. But no, the one you're talking about, I think it was with Shinny, middle of the park.
I think it was him and Nielsen.
Yeah, and McGregor went right through the middle of both of them to win the ball, and then followed up by Negrin putting his body in against Nielsen and winning the ball. Yeah, you can see, as Ian says there, you can see that with KT as well in terms of his leadership. I love the way he talks. He took a sore one yesterday, but that was through communication. And he tells Liam Scales to leave it. Now I'm waiting Liam Scales coming right through the ball there. And he takes a sore one. The boy actually shoves him in the back. But he tells Scales to leave it because I don't think he realises, the lad's that far behind him. I think he thought he maybe had a minute or two to control the ball, or a moment or two. But his communication on the pitch is brilliant. I watched him at Celtic Park last Sunday as well, mate, and I thought he was, he's different class. And by the way, that's him with a stomach bug. That's him unwell. I love the guy saying to Brendan, I know, was it a dodgy curry? Brendan says, no, I've been a curry, mate. Definitely not. He says, probably something he's drank. The guy says, probably that. The guy says to him, I out a date can of lager. Rodgers is like, I hope no. But no, it was good to see that and the kind of aftermath, the pressure and stuff. And listen, I think what helps me, Ryan, is when I listen to the manager. When I see how calm he is, and I know he knows that he's got a really good team there, and there's a lot of guys there with a lot of quality. Luke McKeown as well. He's made a difference in the last couple of games he's come on. And one guy I want to talk about, Ryan, obviously we're coming near the end of this tonight, but one guy I do want to talk about is Paolo Bernardo. Now I know it's a squad game and everything else, but what's running through my head is that's 0 minutes now in the last 2 games Paolo's seen. And I feel as if it's been a long time since we've seen Paolo Bernardo play for Celtic. That's just, to me, that's just the way it feels, In terms of your own thoughts, mate, what do you think's happening with Paolo? And if so, do you think if something comes up before the end of the window, he could move on?
I don't know if it's maybe because he came back a bit later and maybe he's catching up in fitness. I don't know, mate, but this for me was a big season for him. Obviously stop-start last year with injuries. I like him, JP. I think he's a good player, but when I look at it, obviously Negan's come in, Engels will be fighting with that. I think McKibben, again, it's just my opinion. I see McKibben is an impact player off the bench. I think he's much better off the bench than he is starting the game, but he can still contribute to the team. I agree with one of the commenters. He's definitely a good sub to bring on. I thought Engels done well when he came on as well at the weekend. Again, it adds a wee bit of quality off the bench. But Bernardo, I don't know, mate. I really don't know. Again, I don't know if it is with Rodgers, because with Rodgers it seems to be as well. Once you have a few bad games or maybe you're no fit, Rodgers doesn't play you. We've seen that a few players that have been maybe decent players, but maybe can't keep fit or maybe don't suit his style. I don't know what the reason, JP. But it's definitely a mistake. I don't know what you feel on it, mate, but it's definitely a mistake what's happening. But we'll just need to see what happens in the next few weeks. But I do think if he does go, then we need to bring one in, whether it's a loan deal or it's somebody permanent. But we'll just need to see how that occurs, mate.
Yeah, because obviously we've seen earlier on, like I say, I'm the same as you. I don't know how truthful this Andy Irving link is or whatever that's appeared on social media tonight. But he's another central midfielder. So again, then what does that say to Paolo Bernardo? In terms of that aspect, you just wonder. I just thought I'd bring that up there, mate, 'cause it was fresh in my mind. I was speaking about it today to someone else, and I think that, I don't know. It's hard for me to judge just now. I don't know. I'm hoping maybe he might play on Friday. I mean, I might be totally way off it here. He might get a game on Friday. Would it be a game to play him in? I would say so. He played the last time he played Falkirk at Celtic Park. I think he scored, in fact, one of the goals. I know it was a second half surge when Celtic brought on guys like Ida and Nicholas Kuhn, etc. But it was.
No, I've seen there Maestro saying he'll be moving forward, and I'm not touching on it too much, Maestro, but I'm not going to sit and down players because I've probably done it for the last few weeks and months. But I'm all getting really frustrated personally. I don't know what viewers think in yourself, JP, but I'm really getting frustrated with Ida and Scales now. I'm really frustrated with Ida especially. For me, he does not deserve that jersey whatsoever. I know Big Rab, or Dom Rab says about him getting service, but he's no in a position to get service. He's no running. He's no holding the ball up. His first touch is miles off it. He's hiding in between defenders again, which lacks confidence. The manager's... See, you're saying your Cambridge situation, JP, right? I'm reading some of his comments and I'm thinking, he's saying about Ida that he needs competition. He's got Kenny and Amada there. What else does he need? Does he need somebody else to come in for £10 million to go, right, Ida, let's play now? Because Mika Ogo was here and he wasn't brilliant either. So I think the manager, JP's trying everything he can to give him assurances or to give him confidence or he maybe give him a wee ram on the shoulder, but it's not working. Because I'm struggling to see, I'm being honest, mate, and I don't want to be disrespectful either because he's gave us good goals and he's helped us win trophies and stuff, but I'm really struggling to see what he offers us in the room, mate. He's offered me nothing. He doesn't run, he doesn't hold the ball up, he doesn't, his first touch is terrible. The new. I don't know if it's at his best to give him a few weeks on the sub. Say, listen, you need to buck up your idea, something you'll no be here. Because I'm being honest, Shipey, he's offering me nothing and I'm willing for Celtic. And I think if Yamada or Kenny starting Friday, if they play well, it's their jersey to lose because he's getting no qualms about losing that jersey now, in my opinion, mate. For pre-season, he's no done well. The 2 games there, he's no done well. Liam Scale just frustrates me how many times he gives a ball away. I know how Tati gives a ball away in Forest, but it's consistently every game and it's put us under so much pressure. And I can understand players getting the ball away the odd time, but when it's consistently every game, it's frustrating me, mate. And I'm being honest with you, they're the 2 players in my team that are making me feel anyway. They're the 2 players that are making me weaker. Is that position at centre back and Ida. And obviously the wing, Forest was fine. Maeda, we know how he can play there, but for me, we need to buy better than Liam Scales and we need to buy better than Ida if we can. I'll put this to you, mate, and you can answer as well. See if 10, maybe year ago, 5 year ago, when Rangers were maybe closer to his nip tuck, they were buying players as similar to us, the money similar as us, right? Would we be accepting Liam Scales and Adam Ida? No. So what I'm trying to say is, this is why I'm getting so frustrated about the standards. So why are we accepting them now? Just because Rangers aren't up too much? Because 2, 3, 4 year time, they're going to get it right eventually. And we can't hit the standard of some of the players. But that's just my opinion. I could be totally, this is just me. I'm not talking for the fan base. I think we need to be far better than that, mate. And that's just my honest opinion.
No, that's fair enough. First of all, obviously to touch on Big Adam Ida, you're right, he is a guy who's done quite well for the football club. He's brought us some success, he's brought us some good moments. I just think it's a confidence thing, you know, with him, mate. I really do. I think he's getting a lot of stick, you know, for various sources of our fan base. And I think he's going through a moment, you know, mate, where, you know, preferably I would like to see more fans stick with him rather than be against him. If I'm honest. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. They might not think he's... I personally don't think he's in a place just now where he could start every week for us.
Do you know think it's hard though? Do you know it gets hard though when he's playing like that to back him, no, JP? Do you know it gets hard though? I'm not saying back him as in though. I'm not saying boo him like devil. I'm not saying stuff like that. But
but Dyson Maeda's not playing exactly well.
No, I get that. No, I get that.
He's not getting help. What I'm saying is,
Maeda's today, but he's a number 9. You should be looking. Everything's got to be, in my opinion, everything's got to be touch tight. Everything's got to bang on. But Maeda last year was phenomenal for us when he played up there. 2 games that I've said I've criticised him a day. He's not been good the last 2 games. If he continues that, I'll be like Dyson, what's going on here?
Thing is, right, do you know what I mean? You've mentioned last year with Maeda, but last year with Ida, he scored over 20 goals, mate. So.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But see, his performance levels, OJP, are they up to scratch what we're looking for? Now, that's me being honest. I don't think they are. I don't think they are.
Like I say, I think he's a guy who is struggling for a tad confidence.
It could be that as well. That's what I'm saying. It could be that. It could be that.
I think there's something quite no right. I've said a number of times now, and I'll say it again in case someone didn't hear me a minute ago. I don't think Adam Ida's in a position where he can start for Celtic every single week, but this is the position we find ourselves in. It might just take a game like Friday for
it could.
Ida to go and score a brace, and then boom, he all of a sudden springs to life, and we see that, that form that he showed at Aston Villa. Because evidently, through time in his time at Celtic so far, he's shown he can play in big games. And he's gave his confidence when he's done it, because he's scored against Rangers and he's won his derbies and he's won his cup. So I've got no reason to doubt Big Ida. I get everybody's frustration with him just now, but I can maybe understand why there's a reason why he's obviously off for him at the moment. And that's fine. But so's Daizen Maeda. But what I find bizarre is people say to me, JP, Maeda's got more in the bank. Well, for me, he does get plenty in the bank and offer what he's done for Celtic. So, I don't know. I just think he does one of those guys, mate, that regardless of what he does, mate, he's always going to be one of the scapegoats in the team. Because he's now been labelled this guy that he's lazy and he doesn't do enough, and people have made their mind up about him already. So I don't think guys like myself who aren't going to jump on him and aren't going to slag him off to death. I don't think there's any use in me telling any other individual that maybe just doesn't rate him. That this is what he's done good and that's what he's done. Because whatever he does good, he could do 5 things good, but see the one moment he doesn't do something good, that'll be a bit that gets noticed. It's the same as me and my missus, mate. I'll do a million things right in this house. See the one thing I don't do, that's the minute she's fucking jumping all over the top with me for it. So
that's for the Half Dead show.
that's a different story, that one, aye. But no, it's the same, mate. It's the same thing. It's the one thing that, and I think he's just new. Unfortunately for Big Adam, he's new in that bracket, which is a shame. Talk about Liam Scales, mate. There's another guy who I've enjoyed watching him develop. I've watched him, a young boys came in, Ange played him at left back. He went out on loan. Kind of was going to lose his way a wee bit. Go to Celtic at Aberdeen. Then they had the right bad, probably the worst result in the club's history when they get beat by Darvel. He's never looked back since, mate. He's now whether Andy likes it or no, it's a fact. It's there. He's now became a mainstay in the Celtic side under Brendan Rodgers and this is now going into his 3rd season in a row with Brendan. Whether Liam plays every single game this season, who knows? I don't think he will. I think obviously Jemai Simpson-Puzzi's come in from Man City. We will see him at some point. I like Liam Scales' aggression. I know there's moments, Ryan, we spoke about it before we came on tonight, mate, that he gives the ball away. Kieran Tierney gave the ball away a few times yesterday. The times that Scales gave the ball away yesterday, it didn't impact us. It never impacted the play. We got the ball back through a high turnover, we press with Nygren and Hattati, and ultimately we won the ball back. I know what you're saying though, but it seems to be, you talk about a higher level of game, and any time Liam Scales plays at a higher level, he does well. He seems to overcome that, and he steps up to he showed Brendan over time that he can be trusted, and he's now got Champions League experience added to his CV, and he's now got international experience added to his CV. You talk about replacing him, Ryan, and I get what you're saying, mate. He might not be your cup of tea, and you might want someone else, but to replace someone with now all that in his CV, for me, you're talking a couple of million quid, mate. It's not just going to be chocolate buttons you're parting out just to get a guy in who can come in and replace what now you've now developed through experience. Since
he came for Aberdeen, let's be honest, he's done really well. Rodgers has made him better. Ange parked him at loan, didn't want him. He's definitely improved, and I think that's one reason why he's playing as well, because he's improved, developed, he's worked hard at his craft. Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying Scales and either are young or they're bad players.
He's got a gutted for you, man, after that.
I know, but I just think in terms of standards, what we can get, JP. I think if the recruitment team can't get us better than either Scales, Yang, then mate, we're struggling. Because I get what you're saying, he's done well since for Aberdeen, but I just think the standards, mate, are slipping personally. That's just my opinion. I think we can get far better than that. I'm starting to get really. I'm struggling to back them now in terms of
What
saying they're good.
cost do you think we would be able to replace Ida? Because bearing in mind we
What
paid 9 million
cost?
quid. Yeah, so how much would you think?
I don't think it would cost
So,
a lot of money, mate, if I'm being
well,
honest
we
with you.
paid 9 million for Ida, and Celtic fans reckon he's not good enough. So what are we talking now to replace 20 goals?
Well, I'm being honest. Martin Boyle saying Murray was scored 20 goals with Celtic, mate.
No, he wouldn't.
I would.
No,
I
he wouldn't.
would. If
No,
you
he
give him the chances that we get, Simon
I
Murray's
know.
scoring 20 goals with Celtic.
I've seen the two of them play, and the two of
No,
them.
they are. If Simon Murray can, if Simon Murray and Martin Boyle can get 18 goals for 17 goals for Hibs and Ross County, and how much we get for Celtic? More chances as well. I'm not saying sign them, but 20 goals is a minimum for Celtic striker. No, I get what you're saying, but
we tried that with Chris Cullen.
No, well, that's before he didn't score millions of goals for Hibs though. He
scored a few, but that's why he was.
We signed Derek Radden and Stratton didn't play him, even though he called him the best striker he's seen and finished at Celtic. Darren Murphy. I just personally think, mate, that again, it's no. Listen, we've all got different opinions, but I just think the evidence that I'm seeing now with Scales and Ida, I'm frustrated by now, mate, and I'm struggling to go. They should be playing every week. I like to say, I'm really struggling, mate, to say they should be in your team because again, I'm only seeing what I seen performance levels. I don't see them what they do in the training ground. That's what Rodgers sees and whatever else. But I'm struggling to say that they can play in the team now because he does no game evidence to show that he offers us right now anything. And the amount of mistakes he's scaled. I know Tierney makes mistakes at time, but they're doing it further forward. See if you did that in Europe against Rangers or Rangers at Ibrox, or you did that in Europe, you're 1-0 doing it, etc. So I'm wanting it to no get to that stage when I go, I told you so. I told you mate. I don't want that. I don't want it. I don't want it down any player. I want every player to do well, but I'm just struggling to watch them. I'm like, that's an honest mistake. It's just maybe it's just me, mate. It's just me, but maybe I've got high standards. Maybe it's just I want everything to be perfect. I maybe it is. I don't know, but I don't know. It's just my opinion, mate. I just think we can get a lot better. But
sorry,
I'm
mate,
I
want to hit a wee reply there to Plunge. His guy P said we're not missing Kuhn, who scored 21 goals. Yeah, he did, but that was over a season, Plunge. But at the beginning of a season. What I meant was, up to now, in my opinion, we've not missed Nicholas Kuhn due to the flow of our play. Now, Nicholas Kuhn was a big factor in our play. But Benji Negrin's now come in and he's covering that right-hand side. There you go. Yesterday, Yang doesn't even get on. So,
what do you think of that? I think that's pretty damning. Do you think so?
I read something today, mate, saying that he had a knock. I don't know if that's.
Well, if it has, fair enough. I don't know that.
Let's say that we're no rare, Ryan. We can't tell why things are happening. But Rodgers did say, mate, he was pressed against Yamada against St Mirren. And he did say, I can only play 11 players.
That and all right. I know we're nearly ending, right? But Johnny Kenny signs a new deal, which I'll be honest, I don't want to get into this too much, but for me, I don't think he deserves a 4-year deal. I understand why the club's doing it.
I think they're trying to boost up behind these boys, so they're going to get up you, Ryan.
I know. I understand why they've given him it in case he does. If he goes out on loan or he does well, I get that. But I think the way we gave 5-year contracts willy-nilly, for me, you need to earn a contract.
Yeah.
And I don't think Johnny Kenny earns it. I don't think he's earned anywhere near a new contract at Celtic. But he signed a new deal. He's probably buzzing. And then he doesn't go on the park. I get old Rodgers says at certain games fit certain players.
Mate, that Johnny might be moving out on loan again. And what happens then is, Celtic will probably look to bring someone else in.
Possibly. I just thought it was strange how he signed a new contract.
Johnny signing a new deal, mate.
You know what I mean?
Also protects the club because we've seen Bolton coming in with a 1 million or just under a 1 million offer for him, and Celtic rejected that. I think it would have got to a stage, mate, if Johnny never signed a new deal. Celtic would have had to accept the next bid for Kenny. And now that he signed that new deal, £1 million probably not going to take him to Nando's, mate. So I would imagine now he's, you know, and I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying that's because he's got a big appetite. I just mean in terms of that contract, I think that'll take more than £1 million now to move Johnny on if Johnny decides
he's probably got a wage rise, I know, a grand or two or something probably.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But getting back to the reply to Plunge, it's just basically the flow of play, mate. It's just basically the flow of play. I don't think we missed Nicholas Kuna as yet. Obviously, we've lost his goal and his goal getting. And I've said it on previous podcasts. I said it outside Celtic Park when I was standing with Big Barry McCandless. I think it's absolutely atrocious that we're in this position. But I'm not getting too bogged down with the position that we're in because I've got full confidence in the guys who are still there. I've said it. I'm going to go and document again that I think this team qualifies for the Champions League without any additions. Now, that's not me saying, by the way, Celtic, don't bring anybody in and don't add to the squad. I'm saying that now I've got full confidence in this squad of players to be up to speed enough to beat either Bratislava or Kairat Almaty. When Brendan was pressed on both those teams, I don't know if anybody's seen it, but he laughed. He laughed when he was speaking about the game. And it's not a big statement, Stephen. It's just having confidence, mate. That's the confidence I have in my team. And I've said why, you know, because they're quality and they're a good side. And the football they play shows me they're a good side. You look at the football we played against Sporting Lisbon. You look at the football we played against Newcastle. Even Ajax in that first half. You look at what I look at, folks, is the manipulation. How we can manipulate the ball. And when we're playing against that tougher opponent, higher calibre, guys like Hatate, McGregor, Negrin, Carter Vickers, Alistair Johnson, Kieran Tierney, Casper Schmeichel, their games go up a level to what they can normally get away with doing. Celtic can coast domestically for so long. You play against Rangers, you play against Hearts, you play against Aberdeen. Your level needs to go up slightly to be better than the opposition. Right now, as Ryan mentioned at the start, we haven't got out of first gear. And we've won 3-0 officially in 2 games. So, yeah, I've got every confidence in Celtic, Ryan, should we not sign a player. Now, I'm not saying Celtic shouldn't sign a player. No, I want us to sign a player and I hope we do. But should we not? Again, this is the processy side of things. I'm not getting bogged down with that, mate. I'm looking for the outcome. What's happening with the outcome? The outcome is when the window shuts, where are we now? And then we'll see. I've got humongous faith that Celtic will, in 2 weeks' time, Celtic will look a totally different side to what they do now. And they'll do that by bringing in the players that we need. The discrepancies are the wide areas, and as Ryan touched on, the forward areas.
I've still got a lot of faith in us, mate, but I'd like us to go in there with some added quality, because one thing I don't want to do is go to Kazakhstan with a light squad. The travel back there as well. We've got a derby game as well after that. So as much as the team for Kazakhstan might not be great, I don't fancy going to Kazakhstan. We should still be winning that game, but the travel, it could be really hot. The park's horrible. It's not a good game to go to. So I'd rather go to Bratislava.
You could go enough, because I think your mate Scalesy would get you tickets to the game enough.
I probably could, aye.
People like damn you for in my house looking for sun cream and all that, mosquito nets and all that.
I'd still be, let's be fair, JP, take away if it's anybody or no. If we can't beat the 2 teams, then we don't deserve anything. The quality, the level that our players are to their players.
Yes.
But you can't take anything for granted. European football can be crazy. So my feel, I just want us fully prepared. So if that means we get 2 wingers or striker and even a 1 striker and 1 winger to help us, then so be it. But I will be less confident with this team going in than I would be if we added to it. I'll still be confident, still good enough, but the forward area has to be. I might want Burton Scales, I might want Burton Wilson, etc. Like, but Scales and Trusty and Pusey will be fine for the qualifier, absolutely. But the forward areas, if Dies Mader's no up front, I'm not too sure, mate, how that's going to work because the goals might need to come from midfield. So we'll see. But listen, I'm still confident, but I think
That's the thing, mate. We have goals all over the park in that
that
department, mate.
I think midfield will be fine. I think defence will fine, mate. Maeda, if he's on form, we're fine, mate. But I do think we definitely need to strengthen that final third, mate.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, and that's where obviously Brendan wants reinforcements in the forward area. I would say those are the priority because now I think defensively we are totally fine. I think you look at AJ, Carter Vickers, you've brought in Pusey, who's at a high level. We know that because he's played at a high level for Man City. Trained with high level players, so he will be high level, although he's a youngster. You've got Kieran Tierney there, you've got Liam Scales, you've got Austin Trusty, you've even got Dan Murray. We've not even seen Dan yet, and he done okay in pre-season for us. You've also got Inamura, but we don't know what's happening with Inamura. So we don't know whether he'll go on loan or he'll stay with amongst the team, or because right now he's not even been on the subs bench to come on and obviously make that. And yeah, as Monty John too just says there, and everybody's forgetting about that, man. I know we've still got Jota to come back into this team, and that is fucking scary. There's a pound in the swear jar, Brian. I don't care. That's how excited I am because I know what's coming down the line. And by the way, when that happens, you've got Tierney, Maeda, Jota, AJ on the one side. That is going to be Negrin, mate. Forget about it.
I just hope that Jota comes back the same player. He could come back a better player with his rehab and the strengthening, but I just hope. I don't want fans thinking that within a few weeks he's going to be back to Jota because, like it says, after the knee injury myself, I know how hard it can back. I know he's getting even better treatment than I was, but knee injuries can be very difficult to
Do you think
get back
Santa
to your
will
pump.
deliver Jota?
Santa might get booed, mate, unless he, but it's like Santa
You think
with
he'll be banging
Jota.
out the big bag? Can you picture it? Off-time Paradise Winfield drawn. Santa walks out with a big bag and it's Jota with a Celtic kit on.
It'll be Santa boo with Jota, yay! But no, listen, if Jota comes back to the level he was at, then brilliant. But I just hope and pray for his own future going forward and his own rehab, and I hope he comes back the same player, mate. Because there's some players you've seen. Charlie Masonda retired. He done the same injuries as me. His PCL. He's not come back and played fully. He's had to retire due to it. So
another one that came up in a big pedigree and didn't do too well at Celtic.
Aye, again, but he did say a lot of things in an interview that he just didn't get a chance and fitness issues, and again, mate, I just hope Jota comes back to the way he was. I think he will because he's got all the physios, the treatment, and all the care
His
for that.
operation was a massive success, so
Yeah,
let's see how his rehab goes.
I just hope he comes back. I don't want fans demanding or thinking that he's going to be brilliant right away because no everybody's going to be Henrik Larsson and be back even better. So let's just hope his rehab goes well the rest of it, and hopefully we'll see him last in the new year, hopefully.
Yeah, or even before the new year, like I says, hopefully Santa delivers him onto the pitch in a big Santa fic. Or might be another Irish boy, man, just to annoy you, and when he scales his mob, he's bringing people up to set right about you, mate.
Sorry, I'll take out my notes just next year, it's all right.
However, they're in talks now for a 2026 tour, mate, so you might be in me a shout there. But certainly don't look back in anger about that one, Ryan, and keep your head up held high. Aye, that's probably all we've got time for on a Monday night. For anybody that's I've probably annoyed some of you with my positivity and everything else, but just remember, folks, we're not the ones chasing our rivals. They're chasing us. They're not just chasing us, by the way. They're chasing an Edinburgh side as well. A guy in Tony Bloom who's invested heavily into Hearts. So they're also chasing them. So I think I seen something today, mate, and it was one of the pundits. I can't remember who it was, and I think he says that Rangers need to concentrate on chasing Hearts or other teams rather than, rather than Celtic. But what I will say, folks, two really good sides we've come up against so far, and we beat both of them. There's a reason why the team across the water have postponed their game versus the team we played in the first game of the season on Flag Day. We've decided to go ahead with that, Ryan. So so you won that, mate. It's 7 points. That's pressure, Ryan. That's real pressure, mate. Before you go to a Glasgow derby, and there's no guarantee you play that game in hand before the Glasgow derby either. So you lose a Glasgow derby, and it's 10. You're slipping, Ryan. By that point, mate, you're then starting to head into last season's numbers. Then the cat amongst the pigeons. Then who's getting chucked under a bus? Because by that point, there'll be no buses left. And there'll be no players left for to throw. It'll be the tea woman at Auchenhowie. She put something in the tea. Last year it was Big Clement saying about the baby boom. Players are all up late. They're turning up late to training. Made every excuse under the sun. Next we'll be seeing them dancing. Showing us what the players were doing on the pitch. So like I say, it's no our team that's doing all that, mate. It's no our team that go through that. And yeah. And like I said it earlier, it's called rinse and repeat. And that's where a lot of our fear and our fan base is coming from. They're signing players. They're doing this. They're doing that. Yeah, they are signing players. But they're signing players who are not winners. And I don't mean this disrespectfully. They're coming for clubs that, are trying to stay in a division. Not known for challenging to win things. Playing at high levels. We've signed guys for the Bundesliga. I've just said earlier, we've signed 2 Premier League players that played in the Champions League last season. Look at the difference. Have a look properly and then make your mind up, Ryan. That's what I would say to any fan. We've got winners. We've got guys. Look at the Celtic captain, Callum McGregor, who is the most ever at standards, mate. I don't need to say any more, Ryan.
No, like I says, I don't care about them. I'm just wanting us to be better. That's the thing. I don't care about if they sign, because I know we'll sign. I know we can attract.
Forgotten, Ryan. What I've mentioned there, they things.
I get. See, most of the frustration that anybody I know or anybody I've seen, the frustration is no with Rangers and who they're signing. It's
no. But they feel that they're signing players. They're spending money.
See, I don't care who they sign because.
How was that working for them?
Like I says, I think they've signed some decent players. Whether or not they turn out well is down the line. We'll see how they go. But I just want us to be the best version we can. And like I've said previously, and I'll keep saying it, we shouldn't base our signings on Scotland. Because if we buy players to be better in Europe, we win the league every single season. Now, I'll keep saying it. People can clip it, they can bookmark it, they can do what they want. The only team that beats Celtic to anything in Scotland is Celtic. Yes, you can lose a cup. You can lose a domestic cup, right? That happens. But in terms of the league trophy, the only way Celtic lose a league trophy right now is because we don't do our things right. Our house properly. No aim. Listen, I think they've signed 2 or 3 good players, right? Whether or not they come good, we'll see down the line. We can attract better players. We've got a better manager. We've got everything better. So we just get our house properly, and we don't even need to. I've said that a few weeks ago. If we get everything right our side, we don't need to look at Hearts, Hibs, Rangers. We don't need to look at that side. If our standards are to be better in Europe, you buy players for that standard, and you automatically become better in Scotland. And better in Scotland, better in Europe is far better in Scotland, mate. So
I like to do comparisons, though, Ryan. Sometimes when I'm looking at football, and I'm a wee bit like Mark, who's on the channel now and again with us, and I look at the comparison. I look at players that we sign, players that they sign, and I say, right, there's a reason why we've won what we've won, and what's happened to.
No, again, one thing is the winners thing and mentality thing, and it's a massive thing, mate. We've got guys already here, so that helps. They've got some guys in their team that are used to getting beat. So, listen, no matter who they sign.
By the way, they've played for teams, Ryan, who... Sorry to jump in. They've played for teams who It's okay if they lose. It's okay if they
No,
draw.
100%, aye.
They come up here to a team,
To
mate,
get-
they're booing them off the park.
Like I've always says, mate. No, listen, I try and be balanced. I know myself, but I try and be balanced. Even when we're talking about them, night. The only way Rangers are going to start challenging Celtic every season consistently is if you get guys at your team who've failed, i.e., your Taverniers, your Souters. Now, I think Buckland's a good goalkeeper, but he's been a weakened team for years now. Your Kellys, your Raskins, who's a good player, but he's in a weak mentality club. Your Desser's goal scorer, but he's in a weak mentality club. Agaman, weak mentally. These are guys that have been there, losing titles. I don't get mind, they've maybe beat us the last few games and whatever else and stuff, right? Whatever. But the mentality, consistency levels, and you need to be a different breed of player to be at Celtic Rangers, especially Rangers are now, because for me, before we go, I'll say it's an absolute shambles. If you go to Ibrox and you're booing Kieran Dibble, you're an absolute disgrace. If you're going to a football game and booing a player, how does he feel getting home, go to training, working his bollocks off, sacrificing his full life, sacrificing no day? Aye, he might be paid handsomely, but he still have to sacrifice his parts of his life to go and play for your club and be a football player. And he's maybe fearing you out to Ibrox to play because you're going to boo him. How's he meant to play well when he's getting booed? You need to. That's what I'm saying. You need to be made of strong stuff to play with these two teams. But that is an absolute disgrace. And the way Russell Martin done that for me, JP, he's a manager that's weak mentally. He just went, oh, it shouldn't be happening. I've no heard of that, this and that. You should be coming out and calling that out. Call your fans out that that's not acceptable. But did they do that? No. I think Russell Martin's come up here. He's disrespected the league. He's disrespected the way teams play. He didn't know Dundee were going to play like that. So Europe, sorry, going and winning games Europe, but you need to beat your bread and butter. And as it stands right now, mate, they're weak mentally. I know we will get better. I've got my frustrations about whatever else, but the full vein of thing is we're still a better team than the news. It stands in terms of winners.
The comfortableness, the way you're starting.
The manager. Listen, I think we'll see in the derby game. We'll see where they are, and we'll go for there. But I'll stick by it as much as I like Celtic. I love Celtic. I love talking about Celtic. I love it. The only way they'll challenge us longer term in the next few years is if they get the culture changed. If this American mob do that, then fair enough, that's their job. But there's too many guys in that team that have lost titles, lost big games, they're weak mentally, and they're not going to change until they guys are at their club.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And you couldn't have summed it up any better. Well, that's all we've got time for yous on the Monday night. I do want to thank everybody, including yourself, Ryan, that's took time tonight to come on and watch us, and also yourself, Ryan, that's come on and had this chat with me. Thanks very much for your time.
It was a pleasure, mate. It was a pleasure to come on and have a chat, and also it's always better when you win, mate, because the last few weeks we've been talking about nothing but transfers, so it's good to add a bit of positivity, and it's good to get the football back. We could see Celtic win, and hopefully we get the job done in the cup game on Friday night. Yeah, we look forward to that one as well. It's a bit of a weird time for a kick-off on a Friday night. It's going to be a bit of a hallucinogenic experience, being out at that time on a Friday. I've not been at that time on a Friday for a long time, mate, so it's going to be wild. But yeah, for all you that are in the comments and watching us across the platforms, thanks again for joining us the Monday night. We will be back later in the week. I'll certainly be back on Thursday night. We will be chatting with Barry McCandless and his brother Sean again. Probably bringing you all the kind of pre-game chat for Friday. Ryan, you back on this week? I think I might be on with Martin Friday. Well, we're in Jack during the week anyway, and we'll see what's popping. Okay. Yeah. And for all yous as well, if anybody's going to the game on Friday, if you're not back on at all, be safe, take care, and we shall see you all again, folks, in the next episode, as they say. Take care. Hail. Bye-bye.
Sets up Larson here. Larson. Oh, he's in! Henrik
for Henrik Larsson, and Moravcik! His first goal for Celtic!
Here is Shunsuke Nakamura!